As soon as they stepped onto the snow, they were happy. It was good, hard snow, so cutting steps in it was easy. But it was still very dangerous. One slip, and they could fall thousands of meters. Hilary went first, cutting steps in the snow. Behind him, Tenzing put the rope around his ice axe and dug it into the snow to keep them safe. Then Hilary stopped, and Tenzing went first, cutting steps. First one man, then the other. Several times their oxygen stopped working, and they found it hard to breathe. But each time they fixed it and went on. As the sun rose, they felt warmer. To my surprise, I was enjoying the climb, Hilary said later. The weather was still fine, and they could see the tents of Camp 4, 2,439 meters below. But halfway up the ridge, they met a problem. They reached a rock wall, 17 meters high. It looked difficult and dangerous to climb. On the left, it was clean rock. On the right, the wind had blown a cornice of hard snow against it. Hilary pushed his boot into a hole between the rock and the snow. He began to climb with his back to the rock, hoping that the snow did not move. At last, he reached the top of the wall, and Tenzing followed him up. Now there were just 220 vertical meters to go. Slowly, cutting steps in the snow, they climbed on. Even with oxygen, they had to take 2 or 3 breaths after every step. Each time they thought they had reached the summit, they saw another one higher. They were both tired. The ridge seemed never-ending, Hilary wrote later. But then, quite suddenly, it did end. They looked around and realized they could not go any higher. It was 11:30 a.m., and they had reached the summit of Everest. They shook hands and threw their arms round each other. Hilary took out a camera and took a picture, the picture, of Tenzing on top of Everest, the highest man in the world. On his ice axe, Tenzing had the flags of Great Britain, Nepal, India, and the United Nations. Hilary took pictures of the view, north, south, east, and west. Tenzing made a small hole in the snow. In it, he put some sweets, a pencil, which his daughter had given him, and the flags from the ice axe. Hilary made a hole too, and put a small crucifix in there. They gave these things to the mountain Chomolungma, goddess mother of the world. They were on top of the world. But were they really the first men who had ever been there? For a few minutes, Hilary and Tenzing searched to see if Mallory and Irvine had left anything up there 29 years ago. They found nothing, but that was not surprising. Every few days, there is new snow on the mountain. Every month, winds of over 150 kilometers per hour blow across the top of Everest, adding more snow, burying what was there before. After 15 minutes, they turned back. They needed to get down before they used all the oxygen. They went carefully. It would be stupid to have an accident now. An hour later, they were at the south summit. By evening, they were with George Low at the South Col. Next day, they were down at Camp 4. Only 2 men had reached the summit. One from New Zealand, one from Nepal. But everyone in the expedition was happy. They had done something no one had ever done before. But each man in the expedition had needed the help of all the others. Chapter 11. One Man Alone, 1980.